Good morning. It is indeed early. This is a very, very beautiful morning. I don't think it could have been more beautiful than this. Wow, looking out at you is just absolutely amazing and beautiful. I'm stalling because I'm nervous. I've never done this before, and yeah, appreciate it. I want to say thank you to all of the faculty and staff for having me today. Dr. Kimbrough, it's been an honor to meet you, and everyone else I was able to meet in the office there. Whew. It's good to be in New Orleans, and it's amazing to look out and see you guys and what you're about to accomplish and what you've already accomplished. I want to thank you, all the students, the graduating class of 2021, for allowing me to be your speaker at your commencement. You have had some amazing speakers here in the past. I mean, amazing. It was pretty intimidating, to say yes. And I'm not sure why or how qualified I am to speak here today, but my mother and father always taught me that when my people call, I answer. So I want to start off with a little bit of a disclaimer. A couple years ago, Robert Smith paid off the student debt at Morehouse. That's not going to happen today. I apologize. And I believe last week it was John Legend who closed his speech by singing Glory at another university. And, well, that's not going to happen today. So in a lot of ways, I genuinely feel bad for you. You got, in my opinion, the short end of the stick. Not because I can't pay off your loans, I can't. Or because I can't sing like John. I don't want to show him up. But without a grand gesture that resonates and reverberates into the ether of social media, one could have the debate that in these times, without it being recorded or going viral, does it even really exist? This perhaps is a true question your generation is confronted with daily. And for the time being, let's just have a conversation between me and you, shall we? My guess is that me standing here or just having any commencement speaker in general may soon be considered antiquated in its presentation. Does that make sense? I mean, can you imagine what this ceremony may look like for your children? I know you're thinking, Michael, I'm just trying to graduate, dog. I ain't thinking about babies right now, but I get it. As a parent of two, I have no choice. Nothing in my life has gone according to plan, so I've had to adjust. I've had to move with the punches and go with the flow. But mostly I've learned that life is more about being present. However, being present is impossible if you're not ready. Now, I learned to be ready for whatever because eventually everything changes. Now, I'll give you an example. In my business, we have the Oscars, right? And 2 years ago, they held that ceremony for the first time with no host. Ironically, no one missed the host, and there was no real uproar about it. Some people actually preferred it that way. Traditions change. People change. Politics change. If there's anything the last 25 years has taught me, it's that I can't plan on things remaining the same for long. When I got into my business, things were a little bit more simple. As an actor, you could be on stage, you could be in TV, you could be in films, you YouTube was in its infant stages, and reality TV was relegated to MTV. Essentially, talent was needed, but like I said, things don't remain the same. I had to accept that and adjust. Not long after I got what I considered at the time my most pivotal role of tea cake in the movie Their Eyes Were Watching God, based on Zora Neale Hurston's novel. I remember feeling like I was on top of the world. I was confident that my career was heading in the right direction. I had just been selected for the part by the almighty Oprah and Halle Berry, who had just won the Academy Award. I was like, I'm in good shape. My days of fearing that I would somehow return to waiting tables and having no health insurance despite having a college degree were over. I got comfortable. I got ahead of myself. I thought to myself, Mama, I made it. In hindsight, I was not only naive, but foolish. I wasn't ready. I was bamboozled into thinking that the struggle was over and the future was bright. I was led to believe that things would fall into place and stardom was certain. Marvel should be calling any minute now. Things change. I had to get ready. You are the class that will infamously be known as the class that survived the global pandemic. Yes. When you started college, did they say look to the person to your right, then look to the person to your left? One, if not both, may not be here when you graduate? Well, I'm certain some of your incoming classmates as freshmen didn't make it, and this is cause for pride and concern. Be prideful because some way, somehow you made it through. You showed resilience and fortitude. Well done. You showed others, for whatever reasons, they simply did not make it. I remember after I graduated, this feeling being one of the first cold truths about life. Everyone won't make it to the finish line. Now, when I think about this theory, this truth, I am deeply concerned by the question that remains. Who did you help get to the finish line? Did you reach back and make sure that others got there too? We live in a time where technology is sold to us as a mechanism that unites us all, and sometimes it does. Yet when you walk down a busy city street, no one is looking up, no one is connected. If a woman were to fall down, many of us will walk right by without even noticing. We are fully absorbed in our own bubbles. Can you repeat after me, please? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I remember the first time I heard that phrase. I was on set shooting a scene back in 2004. I think you guys were 4. I was shooting with a real veteran who, like my father, was a U.S. Marine. He dropped that gem on me right in between takes after the director asked if we were ready to shoot. And it blew my mind. I couldn't focus. It made so much sense. It was profound in its simplicity and prophetic in its truth. It was also one of the hardest adjustments to make in life. As an actor, I took it to mean study harder, learn different dialects or an instrument like guitar or piano so you don't have to do a crash course when a role comes up that requires it. It meant learn and study the mediums of screen acting versus theater. Learn voice and movement. It meant even if you had dreams of being a movie star, do some television shows from sitcoms to hour-long dramas, just in case those movie roles get harder and harder to come by. Just in case Marvel doesn't call. If you're confused and asking, what should I stay ready for, Michael? The answer is pretty interesting and also internal. Life isn't linear. There's no one way to do much of anything anymore. We grow up with different circumstances. We come from different backgrounds. How to be human in this world is an ever-evolving quest relative to each individual, striving for definition and clarity. The answers we seek typically come in the lessons we learn the hard way. The next time failure comes, Don't look at it as a bottomless pit, but as a hurdle. Does a child with a disability keep you from being the father you always dreamed of? Being a woman struggling with infertility doesn't make you any less of a woman. Getting that job you always dreamed of, then slowly learning that you never really loved that profession and would much rather travel the world taking photographs of your experiences, does that make you a failure or someone who listens to their heart? The answers, like life, are rooted in desire. What do you want for yourself? Once you know that answer, take the steps needed to be ready so you don't have to get ready. My parents' generation was technically the first generation that had the opportunity to have a career, not a job, a career. A job is something you have to do, a career is something you want to do. While sometimes they overlap, in theory, you should never think of your career as a job. That being said, prior to their generation, many folks, my grandparents included, were of the ilk that I just need a job to take care of my family, and they weren't wrong. They worked within the system. Women were raised to marry back then, rather than be seen or heard as fully molded and thoughtful individuals with dreams and aspirations outside of marriage. They too worked within the system. But look at you now. Change is a good thing. One could argue that my generation was the first generation of black people to start off with what we then deemed unlimited possibilities. We could have a career. We could get good jobs with benefits in the private sector, and them good government jobs with great benefits, and even get a big house and be just like white folks. For some of us, this is reality, but for most of us, this is just another dream sold to us on a platter of Americana. I am here today to tell you that America doesn't need more people of color fighting for good jobs and fulfilled dreams. That is to be expected. America doesn't need black versions of Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. When we use that language, black versions, we set a cruel standard for which we unknowingly give truth to power. When was the last time you heard someone white referred to as the next Oprah? I'll wait. Why is the coin one-sided? We need Toya Smith. Do you see how the lack of juxtaposition doesn't hinder the beauty of what I said? It just needs to be said. Thank you. What America needs is more individuals like you, individuals who think individually and don't follow the herd, individuals that don't live for the viral approval of others and don't struggle to fit in. I am always amused when someone says that their spouse is struggling to fit in at work. Fit into what? Fit into what? Did you, class of 2021, work hard? Did I just lose it? Yes, sorry. Did you, class of 2021, work hard to graduate from this university during a global pandemic only to get into the workforce and just fit in? Black people have been trying for years to fit into what America has decided is American. Black people have always been judging themselves according to a standard that we never established. We need individuals like you whose greatest critics are themselves. Black people have literally died fighting for what the ruling class in this country assume as their natural-born domestic rights, despite never having a legitimate natural-born claim to this land. Thusly, we need individuals like you who live and operate from truth, not revisionist history passed down through corrupt public school systems. We need individuals like you who no longer live to seek acceptance from a country that can't protect them, that refuses to protect them. We need individuals like you who believe in a community as a form of intimacy, not a construct or a voting block. Define your own community. These are the kinds of individuals who stay ready. At this point, if you feel like I'm telling you not to obey the law or break away from those tenets that society deems as norms, you might not be entirely wrong. I am not encouraging you to break the law or the system. I am encouraging you to think of a world in which the system doesn't exist. When I moved to New York City after graduating college from the University of Maryland, I worked in a Jamaican restaurant filled with the staff from various parts of the Caribbean. I was amazed at the level of confidence they all had. I always imagined that this confidence came from attending an HBCU. They never seemed to have the same self-doubt I had. There was no chip on their shoulders. It didn't take long before I learned that this confidence came from growing up as members of the majority from their respective countries. They had support and standards of beauty that I didn't have, and it was beautiful. The system here in this country had given me a complex. I also want to encourage you to change the fundamental thinking that you as an individual must adhere to any system. If a system is in place, and believe me, there are many in this country, then one's individuality is inherently in jeopardy. Change the system here because that system has never been in place to help you. In fact, your education should teach you that it is America's historically flawed systems that have helped not only to perpetuate your place and status in society, but also have assisted in the brainwashing of others into thinking much too highly of their superiority. The systems in place to keep light skin and dark skin separated by worth deeply permeate the minds of many across the globe, from America to South America to India to the Middle East and even Asia. It is toxic, so you got to stay ready. You have to think as an individual, and you have to break free of what the past has shown you, only to know that the future is what you make for yourself and your community. For the record, this mindset is only considered radical by those who live in fear of losing power. But I say it again, define your own community and stay ready. Okay, so this part may get me in trouble with the parents. Class of 2021, make certain that when you wake up tomorrow, you are not taking steps in fulfilling only the dreams of your parents. Fulfill your own dreams, find your own way as an individual. Family systems can be toxic as well. I've seen it firsthand. To the parents, let's give you a round of applause for getting them here. Let me start with that. It is all right to dream big for your kids and support them, but be wary of forcing upon them your dreams deferred. Make sure that you are taking whatever the necessary steps are that will get you to where you want to be. Take it day by day and step by step. People always say, follow the blueprint of so-and-so. I say, make your own damn blueprint. And let the achievements and dreams of others remain where they should be, in their corner and separate from anything and everything that makes you special and you unique and you qualified to be your best self, full of self-confidence and self-determination and a healthy sense of individualism. You may very well be on your way to being the first black. Stop right there. You know what? You could be the next black. Stop right there. That ain't a goal. That's a title. Be what you want to be in life, because as an individual, it will bring you happiness without tearing apart the lives of others. Yes, it may inspire others to follow you down your path, but that is not why you do it. The why is inside you. And I stand here to look at you and to tell you to look inside yourself and strip yourself of any ideology, about any glory coming to you if you do. Just do it. Just do it. I recently read somewhere that happiness is the new rich. Time will tell. Earlier, I explained how staying ready affected me as an actor. Now I want to explain how it affected me as a man. I've lost 2 parents in the last decade. Didn't see it coming. Losing 1 parent is brutal enough. Losing 2 can easily be considered an emotional apocalypse. I wasn't ready. At least I didn't think I was. Now, when I played tea cake and their eyes were watching God, I learned a very valuable lesson. We are here for a time. We are here for a time. For that character, his time came to an abrupt end once his purpose was fulfilled. For some, making a lot of money, being famous, or getting married and having children, maybe a good job, that is purpose. For Tea Cake, it was helping Janie figure out how to love herself. After that was accomplished, it was actually okay and somewhat heroic for him to die. His work here on earth was done. And I realized that my parents' work was done and that my time with them was spent preparing me for life without them. In essence, I was ready. What I took from playing Tea Cake can help you as it did me. Today you will walk across this stage and we'll all clap and be proud of you, not only for what you've accomplished in graduating from this fine institution, but mostly for what your potential is moving forward from here. And also, what you give back later on down the road. From the outside looking in, it seems as though the best thing you have going for you as young people is time. Time someone laid up in the hospital right now doesn't have. Take full advantage of this most precious asset. Time has less to do with what you do and more to do with who you are and what you believe. I'm of the ilk that if you have time, you have purpose. Live in that. In closing, are you ready so you don't have to get ready when the time comes and your new reality is right in front of you and it challenges everything you ever dreamed possible or imagined? Or will you be scared because someone told you that you don't fit in? Leave this place knowing yourself. Leave this place knowing you will not be a follower. Leave this place knowing that time is on your side but not to be wasted. Leave this place thinking of yourself as an individual whose goals and dreams will one day eradicate the system mentality that has plagued those that has come before you and those that is currently subscribing to groupthink. Leave this place knowing that as an individual, you can still be inclusive in your community. Leave this place knowing that you are ready for most anything. Pandemics, racism, politics, police brutality, homophobia, xenophobia, and the list goes on, but worst of them all is self-doubt and self-hatred. It starts within you. Leave this place knowing that His grace is inside you. And no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Y'all want me to sing it? I told John I wouldn't do it, but take a look at your neighbor and repeat after me. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. Dillard University class of 2021, faculty and staff. We got through it. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to seeing how each and every one of you grow. I love you, and you. I genuinely appreciate it. I think it might have meant more to me than it did to you. So, God bless you, and Onward.